Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to the first part of our video series for the day. We're going to have this market update, the PSEI as a whole. Then we're going to have at 8 o'clock where we talk about our podcast series with e-commerce experts Charles C., Steve C., and Yasmin Neri, where we talk about and drill down what's happening on the e-commerce space. Then later on tonight, we're going to do our stocks by request. So expect 3 to 4 videos across both of my channels for the day. And I haven't done really a specific video just focusing on the PSEI as a whole, but I really believe that today there was significant movement that's worth talking about. So for those who want to judge or at least analyze the market from a broader perspective, for those who also want to just see the effects of large cap stocks on the index, and for those who are tracking and investing in the markets via index funds, mutual funds, or following FMETF, this video is for you. And I guess this will set also a precursor of how our videos will go for the night, especially when we start analyzing Philippine stocks. Anyways, I want to start everything off in today's podcast where we look at the analytics and the numbers for the market. So as you can see right here, from the get-go, yesterday we had the PSEI close at 7,071, and I'll show you bits and pieces of the chart already a bit later, that it was hitting close to the support range. And I said this in the previous videos that it was either make or break, bounce or break down, as it was very, very close to the support. And lo and behold, for the day, we saw the markets close 1.33% down. And for the first time, since I think the first week of December, we closed below the 7,000 mark. So the PSEI closed today at 6,977.16 with a value turnover of around 11 billion pesos. So that was pretty much significant. If you analyze and look at the other sub indices, from the financials, the industrials, to the holding companies, to mining and oil, to the services sector, all of our sub indices as well were relatively down. And I just want to note this: you have a lot of large cap or even large companies with highly regarded brands pushing down in a strong way. Megaworld was down 5.47%. DMC was down 4.30%. RLC was down 4%. AGI was down 3.8%. JG Summit was down 3.49%. BDO was also down 3.49% as well. And to add to that, this is the index as a whole. Majority of the stocks in the index, with the exception of URC, AEV, AP, and Emperador, were up. No, so URC was up 4%. AEV, AP, and Emperador were slightly up, and the rest were massively, or not massively, but were in the red for the day. So that shows you already the gravity of at least how much selling happened for the index as a whole. Normally, when you see BDO, Ali, AC, SM Prime down, it hits the index. But for today, it's not just SM Prime, Ali, BDO, and AC. It's 25 stocks in the market or in the PSEI that's down. Then you have four that's up, then Ali, which remained unchanged for the day. So it doesn't, from a day-to-day standpoint, no, it's not something that you would look at as something that's very, very bullish. And that's why, before I continue with the next slide, I just want to reiterate this to a lot of people, that above and beyond the price movements, above and beyond the price fluctuations, what's more important is you follow your plan. Because if you don't have a plan, you just came in because of what other people told you, or because you came in because nadinig nyo lang, then it's easy to be shaken. It's easy to be moved and tossed to and fro whenever there's volatility. You have to understand this. Every time you are in the markets, volatility is part of the game. Every time you start investing in the stock market, you will experience volatility. You will experience the swings. You will experience the ups and downs. You will experience the movement of the market as a whole. And that's why when it drops, you need to know, am I holding on to this? Am I not doing anything? And am I thinking to position later and buy again? Or am I cutting loss? those are the two important things you need to analyze. Am I a person who will cut, which is totally fine, or am I a person that will hold and add some more later, which is totally fine as well. That's why if you've been following the videos that I've been creating, it's all about crafting what works for you, because not everyone, I believe, will cut when you see the markets drop, and not everyone also will hold when they see their positions drop. But what will make you lose money is if you change your rules in the middle of the game. Never, ever, ever change your rules in the middle of the game. Set the plan, see it through, and execute based on what you've plotted from the start. Now, I just want to note this also, that for the day, the transactions of foreigners, no, locals still uh, predominantly pushed whatever movement that we saw in the markets today. Foreigners, I mentioned that it was around 11 billion, no, value turnover. Around 8 to 9 billion of that, if I remember it correctly, was locally driven. And if you remove no foreign buying and selling, you have just around 503 million pesos of foreign selling. So foreigners have been selling. It's locals who have been buying at this particular point in time, and it's locals also who have been putting in a large chunk of the volume. And it's interesting though, why I say this is, at some point last night, it was so interesting. U.S. stocks were interesting. We saw Apple continue to move higher, Microsoft, a lot of those U.S. tech stocks, even Moderna, which is highly connected to the cure to whatever illness that's been prevailing right now. The stock also moved up, and then you also saw volatility in Bitcoin. Though the Philippine market, I will always be in the Philippine market. It's so interesting about how things are abroad. It's so interesting on how things are also in terms of the cryptocurrency space. And I guess if there's one thing that I'd like to mention also when you're looking at and analyzing US markets is, ang dami mong choices eh. Here, when you try to diversify, putting in a lot of stocks, you won't really get a good breadth of the market where you can get different market leaders. And that's what I appreciate in US markets, that you can buy so many market leaders in different parts and different segments. You can go for Netflix or Disney or Nike, or Coca-Cola. Then you can go for Apple. So you can go for Tesla. So that's what I like about it. The choices that you can make, that should there be any drop in specific stocks, but because you are spread across also, or at least the way you diversify your money is so different that somehow, some way you would be protected and safe. Not totally perfect that you would never get a loss, but somehow a bit safe as well. Now, di ko alam ba't naligaw to, no? But anyways, this is where we are today. From a support and resistance perspective, very, very clear for the day that the index broke down from the support level. Please do note that we have analyzed this in different aspects, but by the time this video is being recorded, it's not just that we have a large red candle, which shows you people for the day were not willing to buy it higher. People for the day were selling their stocks, and people who wanted to dispose their stocks were okay to just sell it kasi sige, kahit mas mababa na lang, and that's how you read the red candle for the day. But as that red candle progressed, it also signaled a breakdown from the support level. And if you look at it here, prior to that move, though, this was the chart from yesterday. For those who follow the videos that I did yesterday, you see this, that way before the breakdown from the support that we have today, the 20-day and the 50-day moving average were already bearish. The 20-day moving average showed us a breakdown somewhere around January 11, 12, 13, that particular area. Then the 50-day moving average showed us a breakdown already 2 trading days ago. So if it's Tuesday today, Monday, it already broke down. Then Friday, the large red candle there made it go below the 50-day moving average. So this should not also be a surprise to all of you, because it's normal that when you see stocks go below moving averages, you see a more bearish undertone. By the way, for those who want to learn more about moving averages, you can check the link in the description below. We have 1 slot left for Stock Smarts Manila. It's a very, very small group session, but everything that I'm discussing here, from moving averages, trend lines, candlesticks, we're going to discuss it in a holistic weekend of just analyzing and talking about the markets as a whole. So expect that this Saturday and Sunday. Alam po one slot or one slot left. Link is in the description below. And if you want to join us, I'll be happy to meet all of you, and it would be nice also to meet subscribers, which we haven't really done for more than a year already because of whatever's happening from the pandemic. So see you all this Saturday. But anyways, we talked about the breakdown from support. We talked about the moving average. Then I just want to mention the MACD still. MACD, as you can see right here, it's still sloping down, and it's nearing already across from the zero line crossing. So if this continues, there's a possibility, a narrative that we could possibly see more bearish sentiment come in the next, as long as it goes below the zero line cross. And please do note, at the end of November, start of December, MACD has shown us already readings of the cross down. And I just want to mention this. You can see right here the volume bars, from somewhere in December to where we are right now, massive volume in terms of transactions. And if you compare it from December, October, November, there wasn't really much transactions from a volume standpoint as compared to where we are now. So it could be pent up. People who bought early, sabay-sabay sila nagbebenta, and then people who are relatively optimistic also are starting to buy at this point in time, and what's causing a larger amount of transactions that we're actually seeing for today. So again, just to recap, breakdown from support, large red candle. But prior to that, you had two moving averages already showing you that it was bearish. MACD, no change in direction, meaning if ever it's moving down, it's going to continue in that particular trajectory as well. So we're not sure yet from a MACD perspective how long the selling will actually stop. Anyways, comment below if you're learning, and comment if this is something that's helping you. From an RSI perspective, at least for this charting software, as you can see, it's not yet at oversold levels. We're far from overbought levels already, but we're not yet seeing it hit massive oversold levels, which if you follow what I've been talking about in the past few videos that we have been creating, it's quite confirmatory, given that the index over the past few days, over the past few weeks, has started to consolidate. So whatever downward shift that we're seeing today from a 20-day moving average perspective, MACD perspective, from a breakdown from support, it's happening just recent. So what does this mean to all of you also? Your actions on whether you're supposed to transact, to buy, sell, hold, or avoid should be hinged on technical indicators as well, because they could give you an anchor on how you're supposed to go with your investing. Anyways, should the selling happen, I just want to note this to all of you, that the next feasible possible support right now is at the 6,735 level. So I repeat, if the market does not go above and go back to the 7,040 level, the 7,040 level will look like a resistance. And that being said, should it be a resistance, that's an area where people are willing to sell more, then the next possible narrative is it could look for where the next support is. So the next support is at the 6,735 level. So the possible narrative, support and resistance, 7,040 resistance, 6,735 support. And that's the tradable range should the breakdown continue. So if it goes below 6,735, allow me to update you. But if it stays with that level, the sideways progression of the PSEI is still, in my opinion, based on what the charts are telling us as of now, is still currently upheld. So there, just a quick reminder to everyone that no matter how much we talk about the market, the index, and everything else in between, do not buy a stock just because I talk about it here. It's your money, it's your responsibility. Never ever decide just because you hear someone on YouTube say it. Never ever decide just because you have your friend say it, your mother say it, or everyone else in between. You have to take the time to do your due diligence and to research and to study. And please do note that if there are certain factors that, in my opinion, could possibly move how the markets could go, everything is hinged right now. Biden has already been sworn in. A lot of the uncertainty in that transition has already been removed. Couple of things that you would watch out for. The upward move that we saw last year was, in my opinion, after the elections in the US, the trigger that a vaccine is already available. So all of the combination of that, how the vaccines will also trickle down, that further lockdowns will be prevented, I think will somehow no, also change sentiment in terms of how people buy and sell. I just want to note this, that I think right now, no, when the figures come out already that people can't have enough money to start paying out their loans, or um, people who had businesses already, mahirapan sila sa purchases nila sa bahay, sa condo, sa kotse nila, then you may see some challenges also in terms of defaults for certain loans. So it would be interesting to see how the numbers would play out, especially the full year, fourth quarter 2020. Then you also look at the first and second quarter for 2021 as we factor in all of the things that got impacted by the economy at some point last year. So there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section below. If you guys appreciate this video, I super would appreciate it if you press the like button and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get updated every time I come up with new content about investing. If you guys wanna reach me, contact me, two ways to talk to me. Number one, DM via Instagram. Number two, we have a Patreon community. The link is in the description below, where I reply to every message there. For IG, I reply to around 20 to 25 messages. And to those who are joining us for the seminar this Saturday and Sunday, it would be so fun and interesting and amazing to see you all there. So, yun. I hope you guys got a lot from this. Di ko lang ba't naligaw to, but I hope that this is something that's insightful and this is something that's helpful for all of you. Comment below if you stayed until the end, but expect e-commerce video dropping at 8 p.m. Then stocks by request video, as always, dropping late tonight. Comment also below if you guys have any stocks that you guys want me to analyze. But I hope that this helped you, and I hope that this gave you enough information for you to navigate and weave through the markets and win. So that's it for now. This is Marvin Gurmo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.